All right, welcome to Survivor Michigan All Stars post-season uh podcast draft review, the announcement of the winners of the draft. We're gonna release the results of like some of the polls and talk a little bit about the season. We've got both of our draft teams here. Uh and there was actually a little contest between the two teams, so we'll see who won that as well. But first of all, I guess what did you guys think of the last half of the season? And just the whole thing as a whole, I guess.
Okay, I'll start. Uh, I really enjoyed it. I feel like looking back, I was like, it's hard to pick like a turning point because I feel like every vote, like there were just such big repercussions after every single vote. Like even at travel councils afterward, like the Emily B vote or the Adam vote, like you could just see in their faces how much that one vote drained out of them emotionally and mentally. And I feel like it was like that the entire time. Um, so I think that yeah, I think at the merge, um, if you had told me this was the final three, I wouldn't have believed you. And I think that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's really bad, but I think in this case it was good.
I thought the final title, A Theme of Friendships, I thought that was very fitting to like wrap up the season. I think for me personally, like watching it back, it's like gonna be a lot better. I think in the moment you're kind of like unsure of like how it's gonna go, and you're kind of worried like, oh, it's just gonna be like, like a Pagani or something. But I do think like it's very like I think because I know you said like throughout the season there's little hints you drop, and I think going back and watching that like as the season's going on, I think that'll be really interesting to see. So yeah, I liked it, and I think it's gonna be one that like ages well with time.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall it was pretty good. I definitely was more entertained in the back half of the merge. I think Act Two was really, it seemed kind of like a Pagani, but you got to see like a lot of the intricacies of people planning things. And then once Emily B vote happened, it just really like, sparked a fire under everyone. Massive props to Sam and Cooper for that final immunity challenge. That's got to be one of the most impressive things I've seen in any college Survivor, let alone real Survivor. In the cold, like I'm from Illinois, so I know how bad the cold can be. So the fact that they did that to the cold is like extra impressive. So I would definitely say it's interesting. I think personally, like I think Sam did a phenomenal job. I thought he was going to be out like early, like throughout almost the entire pre-merge. I thought he was going to be gone early, but I honestly think Leia could have been a really interesting representative as a winner because I feel like her philosophy of the game has been really representative, especially throughout the back half of the merge, like with the themes of friendship, as Joseph was saying earlier. So, but overall, I think it was a really great product, and I think on a binge, it could be really fun to watch everything.
Yeah, who would you guys have voted for at the end?
Um,
Sam.
yeah.
I'd probably say Leia.
Oh, we got one Leia. There we go.
Yeah.
How many Leias? Just Ryan? Nobody else is willing to.
So Alex, you're willing to say that you think Leia would have been an interesting winner, but
Yes,
you
but
wouldn't have voted.
I would not personally have voted for Leia because I understand her like her perspective in the gameplay, but like just from like play styles, I understand more and respect the journey Sam has went through from being a target very early on. And that's something I think that I would have swayed for personally, but I can respect the way that Leia played the game, and I think she would have been an interesting representative if she had been the winner.
And I
Ryan,
don't
why
think like
why would you have voted Leia? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think Leia just played the best game overall. I think that's mostly what I would go for if I was a jury member.
for me, I think, and I never want to be like final travel should decide the vote, but I do feel like both should try to explain to me if Leia explained her game well enough, because I feel like she had a lot of control of the game. So if she explained her game well enough, maybe to like maybe my question or other questions that I had noticed, I think I could have been swayed.
How did people feel about Sam's choice when he had to choose between Leia and Adam? Did people think he had made the right choice in the moment? I mean, obviously he ended up winning, but there was to this day there's a lot of debate over if like strategically that was the correct choice, like regardless of whether or not he won. Like
He won though, you know, like he won, the girl. I think that I think AJ is a person who very clearly understands Survivor and like was, I think, not bitter in their final vote. They like really came around to this idea, and I think Sam knew that they were a little more flexible. And I think that Leia would have been an absolute tornado on the jury of just trying to torpedo Sam if Sam had voted her out. And I think that Sam made the right call. And so you have to get friends on the jury at some point. It was just unfortunate that in that situation, Sam actively had to put someone on the jury versus like letting Adam go without any sort of like fuss.
How did
I-
people feel about or go on?
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, also from a longevity perspective, I think it made sense because Leia was more likely to stay loyal to Sam, and AJ was actively like talking at different points that they wanted to get Sam out. So I think overall Sam made the right decision in his choice, and I think the ending proves that.
And Bree really didn't like Adam, so if Sam voted out Leia, he might have also lost Bree for the future.
Yeah. How did people feel about Bree in the finale and sort of the little journey she went on?
I think for Bree, it's just like as a viewer, it's just really kind of frustrating watching because there's like obviously the jury themselves even said it, like there's an avenue for her to win if she just she votes out Crouch, or no, if she votes out Leia, then kind of goes to the end with Cooper and Andrew. So it sucks like watching because you're just like just do it, but then obviously like if that doesn't happen, and I do realize that like all of it wasn't necessarily her fault. Obviously the whole big thing that happened at the Final Five tribal, them all kind of that huge show kind of like prevented her from actually voting Leia. But like I would have respected Bree's game like immensely if she could. For certain players, like they do kind of realize that, you know, I kind of haven't played as big of a flashy game, but I do realize if I can make these moves, it'll give me the best chance to win. And if they could recognize that and they can do it, I think that like that earns me, or like I have a lot of respect for players who do that. Like going into even like mid merge before she was voted off, like I recognize that's what like Emily B was trying to do. And I was waiting for her to kind of like make a move like that because she kind of realized like her perception was the perception around her was that she's not doing much. But if you kind of like if you have that perception, a lot of people aren't aware of the fact that like you'll probably make a move. So I do think that's something that could really help you out, if especially in Bree's case when that Leia at that point is like the biggest player in the game. So
I just feel for Leia. I'm sorry. I feel for Bree. I think Bree was exhausted by the end. That's also kind of the vibe I was getting. And I feel like to be kind of beaten down every, like, especially in the final four tribal council, and then have to go into a jury of, I think, like very smart and articulate people who are going to rip you to shreds. I think it can be very daunting. And I think she actually did a great job considering the jury she was up against.
Yeah, I also think that relatively speaking, the jury, though they had a lot of they were ready to like really tear into Leia and Sam. I think they, to a degree, didn't feel the need to like really like shit on Bree super hard because they all knew where they stood with it, and they don't think they thought it was like worthwhile to be doing that necessarily. So I think she dodged some of like the more shit talk that like you would have maybe expected her to get.
If people had more seriously been considering her, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think that most people had just written her off essentially.
I
So
mean,
they didn't feel the need to like lay into her really.
she had a good final tribal, but yeah, maybe dodged some of the harder questions, and wasn't quite enough to sway a couple votes. And we kind of led people to believe with the way we stacked the votes that maybe Bree was going to get some at the end. And I know you did pretty well with the editing. I mean, some people were on the fence. Like I think AJ and who else was it? Lucy and Kevin were like, oh, maybe let's just cause some chaos and vote for Bree and see what happens. So like she wasn't that far away from winning the game, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, I think that the most interesting scenario is Leia, Bree, and Bree, Cooper, and Sam. If Bree votes Leia at Final Four, and it's Bree, Cooper, and Sam, so like she didn't get rid of Sam, but she got rid of Leia. I think that that's an interesting scenario where you could see Cooper and Sam maybe fighting with each other and Bree sneaking in somehow.
And Bree could she might still get Leia's. Leia probably votes for Sam, but maybe Bree is able to get Leia's vote. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I think it's an interesting scenario potentially.
Listen, you got me though. When those like fake kind of Bree edit votes came in, I was like, maybe I can win this back. Maybe this draft is in my hands now. Like I was like, what's going on? And then it was bullshit.
I was fully convinced it was going to be a 3-3-3 tie. I was like, how are they going to break this?
Well, it's a 10-person jury, so that wouldn't have been possible, I guess.
Oh, I can't count.
I guess what was people's favorite moments of the season overall, or what they thought was like the best episode or their favorite vote or something?
It's a tie between the Adam vote and the Emily B aftermath vote. I think are definitely two of the best ones of the. Yeah, two of the best. I think the best overall has to be the double tribal one, but in the merge, I would say either Adam AJ's vote off or the Emily B. I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna say the Emily B one because I feel like that was the game-changing vote that broke up the friendship alliance.
It's like it's both my least and most favorite in a sense, but the merge boot with Nick, that was
Mm.
that
I was gonna
just
say the
like
same thing.
so the thing is like I actually so I was I'm doing like a college survivor and I'd actually reached out to like Sarah X to do like a little shout out for me. So she sent me a video and like I was spoiled because like she had sent me like the KYTL group and they were interviewing Nick. So like I knew that Nick was gonna get the boot. So as I'm watching the episode, I'm kind of figuring out like how is it possible like Nick gets voted out? So I'm seeing all these things and I'm like, okay, like what's happening? So then when it kind of gets to the end and I see he gets the idol, I'm just like, wait, how does he possibly not go home? And then it's just absolutely brutal that he just doesn't play it. And I'm just sitting there like scrape like the whole time like what because
Yeah.
I think it was almost like worse watching knowing he goes home because then I kind of got to see like what happened. Whereas like I feel like for some people it's kind of like they still were on the fence of like, oh well maybe Nick can save himself, but I knew the whole time he wasn't. So I feel like it was just more like tragic to me in a sense, but also like watching as a viewer, it was just like I know how you call like this season it's like a tragedy. I think that's like the biggest like tragic moment of the season.
Yeah,
So
I think that might have been the most shocking moment of the season when I was there in person because Nick had told me he was playing the idol. So I was expecting him to play it. So I was like I was in shock as much as I think he was that he got voted off because I just was like sitting there behind the camera like, wait, but he said he was going to play the idol. Like why, what is he doing? What's going on?
Those are the moments when you're like a survivor producer where you're like, maybe I am telekinetic. Maybe I can reach this player with my thoughts. Like, let's just try. It reminded me of the Final Seven Michigan All Stars vote where you're like, if this person just plays their idol and saves themselves, they will explode the game. Like, things will change so dramatically based on who goes home and like what's revealed. And instead, it's like, okay, now Nick goes home and then everyone else goes home. Oh no. Like, it just is such a sad result. But also, I think the double tribal. I think all of the post tribals where people are crying and screaming at each other are so funny. Like, girl, it's $100. Like, let's chill out. It's so funny.
Anyone else have a moment we did discuss, I guess they
my
love.
favorite episode is Kevin versus Will. Those are two of my favorite characters, and it was both emotionally devastating and like super funny. It's like those two just going at it.
Who were
That was a great one.
before we get to the fan favorite, I guess, did everybody, I guess you want to reveal kind of like who you voted for and who your maybe favorite of the season was, or just like MVP, I guess, other than, the winner of the season, but maybe who you enjoyed watching the most?
I voted for Aaron, Megan, and Lucy because that's who we picked in our draft on who the fan favorites were.
Well, you're,
Oh, yeah, who's your personal,
yeah.
Oh,
who's your favorite person from the season?
Oh, because this is tough because I feel like it changes every time I talk with some of the contestants on LRG. Going into it, I'm gonna say the person who gave me the most entertainment is Bailey 100%. So I think I'm gonna say Bailey is my personal number one, especially after talking with her for like almost 2 hours, and that was just us recording it. I get why she was like so socially connected. And I mean, half of the drama is her, and the amount of quotes people say is just Bailey quotes. So I'm gonna say Bailey's my fan favorite of all time. But I love everyone. Why am I saying that?
I would say for me, I really enjoyed Sarah this season. I personally haven't seen any of her other games that she's played, but I really enjoyed like her thinking of strategy, and she was just entertaining at the same time. So for me, I would say Sarah.
I think for me, was Emily B. I think I had one of the lower expectations for her. I think like low expectations is secret to happiness. So that's why I pushed so hard to get him from Ryan, to get her from Ryan. So I really enjoyed her. I think she played a really under the radar, but also like radar game. It was good to see.
I think for me, probably Crouch. Um, I was rooting for him so badly at the end. I really thought he would be able to pull it out, but I do think that like they made the right choice voting him. I thought it was funny how like he was so like cocky, but then like nobody can really do anything about it. So they're just kind of sitting there like he's just like, yeah, I know you can't vote me out. So that was pretty funny to me.
I don't think people can see it, but I am the Sarah Slut president. I love Sarah to death. She's so funny on this season. But also I think Jackson and Crouch for me are two like the funniest alpha male college survivor contestants of all time. Like they just have an ability to give a confessional where you're like, this guy should shut the fuck up, but I want him to keep going. Like he's great.
I said Adam. I think they gave a lot to both entertainment and strategy value this whole season long. They're just giving good stuff.
I think it's really nice that you guys could have said literally any of the 21 people, and I don't think we would have been surprised. Like every single person like has their stands, and like I would have guessed somebody would have said Megan, and she was probably one of the biggest fan favorites. But like there are plenty of other, and like Megan's obviously a fan favorite too. Like Lucy going in was a big fan favorite, but other people kind of rose in their popularity and stuff. So I think that's really great to see.
Right. And we were riding the Tom train the whole time. We never
Yeah.
gave up. We were waiting for Redemption Island and it didn't happen, but it's okay. We'll get him next season.
We'll
Yeah,
get
I
him
was-
for the OSU versus Michigan
That's
stream.
true.
that-
Exactly. We're
I'm
back,
rooting for
baby.
Tom.
That's
in
true.
that. He needs
That's
to win.
true. Tom's I
Buckeye,
they should
Buckeye
just
Tom. Yeah.
keep casting Tom in every single Survivor season until he wins the game. Basically,
It's like a Marvel movie. Tom will return in. Like, I'm so excited.
Cast Tom until he makes it past 2 episodes or
Yeah.
2 titles.
Could happen.
So I don't know, Matthew, should we just get into it then, you think?
Sure. Let me do you want me to if you'll let me share my screen, I can kind of give a little draft recap for everybody and congratulate our
sounds good.
winners, and then we'll do our fan favorites.
Okay. All right, you should be able to share your screen now.
All right, let's see.
Are you just pulling up the draft thing?
Yes. If it'll work.
Sounds
for
good.
me.
Oh, should we have everyone put on their name if they were in team 1 or team 2? So that when we get to that, it'll be like clear to the audience.
I don't know what team is which.
I don't know. I can find
Let
I
me,
can find out. I can find
I
out.
think
the
you're
answer.
Oh, okay, if you're
Team
1, then
Two.
I'm 2. All right, got it.
Yeah, team one was like Ryan and Trevor and those guys. Team 2 is
Fuck my drag.
Is the better one.
well, we'll see. We don't know for sure yet. We're about to find out.
No, team 1 was more entertaining.
We'll see who predicted the fan favorite
Yeah,
correctly.
you're welcome for making our team more entertaining, Lee.
I also have a funny story when we get to it about the fan favorite poll. I believe there was an attempted rigging. So we'll have to discuss that. I don't think it was anyone in this group, but I don't someone out there tried to pull a stunt.
For somebody. Yeah. I think people would
It
be
pains me
surprised too.
looking at this.
All right, everybody can see this, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'll just go real quick. So for draft group 1, so congratulations to Ryan. Round of applause. Our champion for draft group 1.
You have
Picking
anything you want to say, Ryan?
Well, I picked Kevin to win, and none of my picks made it to the final 5. But I don't know actually how I won. It's kind
It
of
was-
stunning. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, it was a pretty improbable victory, I guess I would say. And looking at kind of, who you drafted right off the bat, you had a team of everybody who made the merge, but I guess nobody who made final 5. But you kind of benefited from everybody kind of having a pre-merger or kind of somebody that kind of tanked the team. So good job for the social winners of Survivor. And this one was obviously a very, very close one between Ryan and Lee. Just a half point separated them. some trades that could have, decided things.
Yeah,
I guess
we don't need to
yeah.
get into it.
Yeah, because Lee traded away
Yeah.
Leia. He had Leia and Sam, right?
I had
Originally, he did.
yes, had
Yeah.
Sam, Adam, Tom, and Leia. So
Yeah.
pretty shocking
Literally-
that I think after the draft we thought Lee has this locked up, but was not the case. And Ryan, I think your trade of Emily B ended up being pretty good because she got 6 post-merge points and you traded her for 10 points. So that net 4 definitely kind of helped you with the win overall.
Yeah.
So
I think it also kind of forced the other people to make trades too, because by that point I was up by like 20 points. So it kind of made other people kind of had to make trades, I think.
Trevor, you traded 29 or yeah, you spent 29 points to kind of rebuild your team. You ended up getting a net 6. You sent away 29 points to kind of rebuild your team, and you got 35 from them post merge. So I guess all in all, good strategy, it sounds like.
I mean, if Nick plays that idol, my team is so good. But and I almost traded for Sam, but
No, I would never given them up.
in my head, it's almost.
Trevor
I mean,
did
you-
get he finished with more points than he gave away, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he got Bree for 11, and Bree got 11 post merge. He got Leia for 8. She got 16 post merge.
I
And
thought I
you,
gave, oh,
Yeah.
I thought I gave Leia away for 10. Fuck.
we can go back and check the tape, but what I have here says 8. So I think that's where it was at.
Actually,
either
I think
way.
I told in that draft video, I think I told you not to trade Leia Lee. I think I was like, don't do it.
This is my problem. I don't listen to people. And this is why I should.
Who got the bonus Sarah point for the final episode title?
Let's see. I think it was Harry.
Harry.
Yeah.
Harry, yeah, he never gave up
Gotcha.
Sarah. He
Yeah.
was riding Sarah to the end.
Yeah. Does anybody have any, if we kind of look back at the draft, any picks where you feel like, you kind of went astray, or maybe were between two people and made the wrong pick, I guess?
The fucking wheel.
That's true. So Lee, I think it was this pick here where one of the advantages in the draft was you have to spin a wheel to see who it lands on. And that's whoever you get. Yours ended up on Tom, which definitely ended up costing you because I don't think anybody scored fewer points than Tom. So yeah, that I guess
And it-
Who are you gonna pick?
I was either going to pick Emily
Wait,
or
who are
Bailey.
you gonna-
So you would have
Pick
won.
if you
You
were
would have
inside
won
the
if
wheel.
would you have won if you had had either Emily or Bailey instead of Tom? Yes,
definitely,
right.
definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Unless
Even
you,
if I-
unless you
yeah.
traded them to me.
Who played
Absolutely.
who played the wheel advantage on him?
Harry, the fucking
yeah.
Brit.
Yeah.
I was between Jackson and honestly, I thought I was gonna get idled on the first pick, and if I was idled on the first pick, I was going to pick Sam.
Ooh.
Oh, thank God you didn't, because Sam was my first pick.
That is what would have happened. I was fully expecting that to happen, but I was like, I'll keep Jackson. I'll be happy with it.
It's crazy that Nick fell all the way. I think he was the last, second to
Yeah.
last person.
I thought that Nick and Will were being done so dirty in this draft. Like when you
Yeah,
guys,
Will
I
was
couldn't
not picked.
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that Will went unpicked. I thought that was crazy, to be honest.
I mean, he was unpicked for a reason, and we were correct.
well, but not really. I mean, he really played
That's
pretty
very
well.
right.
Like
Yeah.
he got taken out by like an act of God, and if that hadn't happened, I think he's going very, very deep into the game.
He got
Listen,
4
we
points.
knew,
I
we
had
knew he was going
rated
home early. We just didn't know
highly.
how.
I feel like you guys were correct, but for the wrong reasons. Like your rationales were like, "Oh, Will has no chance at all," which I don't think was really true if you watch the season.
It wasn't, but
I had Nick rated like in my top 6 going into the draft, so I also was confused. I kind of just went LOL and wanted to pick both Emily and
Yeah, that
Aaron.
makes sense.
And honestly, like picking Will, I think would have been overkill.
Yeah, overkill Toronto. For what it's worth, when we did the production draft, I also picked Emily P and Aaron back to back because I thought that I thought that one of them would I thought it was going to be some big clash between them, and it was be good to have both sides, but it didn't really work out that way.
I mean, the Tormenta slaughter of all 4 of them going out in a row was pretty crazy, but lost a lot of big characters in that run. So
Who won the production draft?
Who won the production draft? I don't remember. I
yeah,
feel
don't
like
remember
I
either.
want to say it was like Chloe and Brady. I
Yeah,
want to say that
I think
they
so.
they had Sam or
Sam.
something like that.
Yeah.
I had Cooper, Crouch, Paddock, and Aaron. So I think that I
on
got
paper,
second.
that's a great team. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Like you hear that and you're like, yeah, you got like 4 really strong players. And this is, I think, what the crazy thing about these drafts are is
Well-
like we're like, yeah, we got like really good people, and then you're like, wait, holy shit, like Will is gone like 30.
It's a crapshoot, you know. Like you really have
Yeah.
no idea, especially going to a season like this. Really, we didn't have any idea who was going to do well. Like nobody knew.
That's true. All right, should we get
Go to
to
the-
draft group 2? Let's take a look at draft group 2. So congratulations are in order to Joseph for winning draft group 2. Actually ended up with the exact same score, 66.5 points.
That's
The
crazy.
exact same that Ryan had. So technically no overall winner, you know, between both groups. There'll be a winner between the groups for the fan favorite pick, but nobody kind of won overall. So that was
Both
pretty crazy.
purple.
Yes, and both had the 5th pick. So maybe picking later in the draft at that 5-6 turn maybe kind of helped you out. So Joseph won with a team, started with an original team of Megan, Bailey, Dylan, and Sarah Gallagher, and then traded for Leia. So I think between the two, I think was Bailey on both winning teams.
Bailey and Megan.
Bailey and Megan on both
Wow.
winning teams. So having either of those two on your team definitely
And
seemed to help.
Leia was on both winning teams at some point in time, right? Or no?
No,
No.
Ryan never had
No, that's
Leia.
not
I
right.
had
Yeah.
Leia.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The
But
true winning team.
But Bailey
Yeah.
and Megan were clearly the picks you wanted to have.
That is true. That is true. So nobody else was really close. Austin ended up getting second. But Joseph kind of, you know, ran away with it seems. And I know Dustin, who did he trade? Dustin's trade for Leia, maybe.
Yeah,
For
he
how
said that
many
he would have won
points?
he was saying that he would have won if he hadn't done that trade. So I don't know if we can
Yeah.
confirm or deny that, but
I
that's what
think
he was
he-
saying to me.
He might have because I
Yeah.
think because he gets those 5.5 points plus whatever like the ranking differential is between like Megan and Leia.
Mm-hmm.
It looks
Which
like
was
11.
11 points. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so he
And
would
he,
yeah, that
and he,
was
and he
kind
lost
of
by 9. That was a game losing
the
move.
trade that sealed it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So
So both people lost getting rid of Leia.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny. It is
Leia's
just funny
just
because
ruining everyone's game.
she did just seem like she was in such a going into the merge. I think it didn't feel like she was in a good spot at all, really.
I don't even think it had anything to do with the game. I just think we just didn't want her because we didn't like her.
That's what Dustin said. He was like, I wanted Megan because I just liked her better.
Yeah, that's why I got rid of Leia. It's like I don't like her
Hey,
game.
you gotta play with your head, not your heart.
Yeah, this is the whole time you're just like, all right, well, I want a team of people I'm rooting for because I don't want to be rooting against myself when I'm watching the season.
Or you could be hedging and pick all the people you dislike, so that at
Yeah.
least if they go far, then you're winning the draft.
I like doing that.
Jo-
Naomi,
Jo-
thoughts? Yeah.
I was gonna say, Joseph, do you have any thoughts on your victory? You know, anyone you want to thank or anything?
Well, so my philosophy going into like that trade was basically as long as like Leia outlasts Megan, because I'm getting like 5.5 points out of it, I'm gonna win this trade regardless. So long as Leia at least like goes further than Megan. And then also I was thinking like because of like how Leia was viewed in the game, I figured there's a good chance she might get dragged to the end regardless. So even if she doesn't like get votes, she'll at least get like the ranking points. So that was kind of like my philosophy behind the trade. Because I didn't really want to part with Megan, but I also kind of started to recognize I don't know if there's like a combination where like she's gonna get far either, because people are gonna like have kind of always been gunning for her, and I think like she was always gonna be eventually targeted. So I felt like at least with Leia, there's a higher likelihood she gets to the end, either as like a threat, but like I was thinking more in the lines of like as like a goat possibly.
Any other big thoughts on this portion of the draft?
R.I.P. Dylan.
Naomi or Alex, thoughts on your team's performance? Any picks you regret?
I'm just thankful Naomi made that trade with me. Otherwise, I would have been out of players by the end of Act 2.
I know, you're welcome. No, I think Crouch clowned on me in the literal chat at one point. But in my head, I was like, oh, who's a huge target who's gonna get pointed out at the merge? Andrew Crouch. And I was like, he's beat his placement, like how many more points? And I thought in my brain, like I was like, Kevin is gonna big brain this game and make it to the end. I don't know what the fuck I was on, but in my
Me
head.
too, yeah.
And if I had stayed, I would have had a much better team. And I blame you, Ian, and Matthew for doing this to me. This is all your fault.
For making
Yeah,
you think
I feel like
Kevin
if
had
we
a
just-
chance. Yeah.
Yeah, if we just kept it the same, I would have been fine.
Yeah, I feel like once we traded, we were throwing away our game.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't
I went-
make anybody trade, so
Yes, you
encouraged
did.
it.
There was only heavy encouragement to do so.
yeah, yeah.
The funny part is like I also like was trying to trade Megan for Crouch, and I like would have much rather preferred to trade for Crouch, but I just don't think like we were able to like agree on a deal. So
No, we couldn't, yeah.
Would have won by even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess like, yeah, because I think it would have been Dustin. I remember after the draft, I'm pretty sure Ian and I thought Dustin was gonna dominate. Like obviously Tom was gonna drag his team down a little bit, but we knew Cooper, Adam, and Leia were in for a ton of points. So
And
he
Yeah.
was
didn't even-
auto drafted
Yeah,
Leia
he
too.
didn't pick
Yeah,
Leia.
he got
Oh, is that
Leia
right?
off the
He
wheel.
got the wheel.
that's right.
Yeah, he was
That's
gonna pick
right.
Jackson first, which would have meant Jackson
That's
was
right.
What
gonna
a
go
terrible
first.
choice.
Yeah.
Oh, easy, Naomi, easy on the
Who-
Jackson being a terrible choice.
Who would have picked Leia? I guess anybody can kind of say they would have picked
Yeah, were
Leia.
any of you
if,
guys considering taking Leia?
Not that
Not that
early.
early.
I-
Yeah.
I feel like when I started this game, okay, like a lot of respect to Leia and everything she did in the game, but like when I started this game, I had such high hopes for her. And then every episode I watched, I was like, I do not want her on my team. Like, absolutely not. Thank God I don't have her on my team. Because every episode I was like, go home, go home, go home. And so I feel really bad, but like it's impressive. And I think it's so funny that Dustin ended up with her and then said, no, I know Megan because I've only seen season 4. Give me Megan. Like, that's so funny.
I like how me and Dustin have pretty much the exact same team, only we switch out a different lanky white boy.
Mhm.
Cooper for Sam, right?
Yeah,
we each
both
had
had.
the
I think you all both had what Adam, Tom, and
Tom and
Leia,
Leia.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, I was given Tom, he was given Leia.
That's
and then
true.
And both of you lost by getting rid of Leia.
and yeah. Leia's.
Also-
Maybe that was Leia's revenge in the
You
end.
guys
was
needed
kind
to
of,
keep
yeah.
you guys needed to keep Leia on your list.
Also, how is Sarah a 4th round pick? I want that question to be put out there.
I don't know. I know I took her and Dylan because back to back because I was kind of like, oh, I want the winner and the first boot. Like part of it was kind of for fun, but also I was like, well, at least Sarah's gonna like be her placement probably.
Right.
So
I think that okay, I have to reveal something now. I think if I didn't know what placement, like I knew Sarah made it. I didn't want to pick Sarah because I knew kind of how Sarah did. So I wanted to be like, I didn't want to, use my insider trading knowledge. But if I didn't, I would have picked her in Erin's spot. I would have taken her. I love her so much. But, I just couldn't do that to the ethics of the board,
We appreciate the integrity. So
Should we talk about the little challenge
Sure.
between these two sides, and then I can reveal who
yeah,
who won?
yeah.
I'm pretty
so,
sure I know who. I think the second team won. They have.
Honestly,
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
yeah. So we did. I don't know if this was in the actual.
So
podcast.
I cut
Yeah.
this out of the podcast because I didn't want it to influence the results. Like I didn't want people to watch the podcast and then decide to vote for somebody for their fan favorite based off of this. But we had each draft group pick who they thought would be the fan favorite of the season, basically.
Yeah.
Matthew,
And
you can explain
so
this first.
yeah, so the winner. So between Joseph and Ryan, whoever's group one will get an extra prize. Both of them are getting a poster in the mail once I get them from the person who has the posters, and then there might be a bonus sticker or some sort of bonus prize for whoever was also on the winning group. So there is some incentive here. But we just had each group pick the top 3 that they thought would be in the fan favorite poll. And I think we're doing 4 points if you correctly guess first place, 3 if you correctly guess second place, 2 if you correctly guess third place, and if you guessed them first and they got third, then you'll still get 1 point if they were in the top 3. That's how we had it. So that was so we had group 1 picked Lucy to be the overall fan favorite, Megan to be second, Erin to be third, and then group 2 had Megan, Jackson, and Crouch.
All right. So should I reveal who?
Yeah,
who is
do
in
you want
what?
to screen share or do you want me to keep my screen up?
I'll just read it off.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
So-
You should go backwards to, can you show, well, maybe you could do top 5.
Who's the
top
least
10? Yeah.
favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, funny enough, I mean, we'll release the full thing on Twitter, I think, in a couple of days or after this podcast comes out. I believe every single person in the cast got at least one vote. Let me make sure that's true before I.
Oh, so the
officially
cast
say
was
that.
allowed to vote for themselves.
I mean, it's a public
There's no
poll.
email verification.
Anybody
yeah.
can vote for anybody they want. Oh, actually, there was one person who got no votes. Can anyone guess who it was?
Leia?
No, I.
No.
Is it gonna
I
be
don't-
sad?
This is
like
gonna be a
Tom?
shocking. This is gonna be a shocking. I don't think people will guess this person. I
don't-
think this is just indicative of their overall role in the season, less than how people actually feel about this person.
Cooper?
Emily?
Dylan.
Dr.
Dylan.
Will?
The answer is
I was gonna
Dylan.
say Dylan.
Oh,
Dylan got no votes for fan favorite.
Wow.
It's also, I mean,
Wow.
player of the season. Like he didn't do very much, I guess. But I would expect to be at least one like Dylan stan out there who would have voted for him.
I mean,
But-
Dylan was in every single episode. I think Dylan across his 2 seasons, he was in every single episode. That's pretty impressive.
That's true. That is pretty impressive with the quips.
yeah.
All right,
He got the
so
votes when it mattered.
polling at 0.8%. Nick. So Nick got very
Wow,
little. Nick got
really?
very few votes. Aaron 1.5%. Emily Paddock
Ooh.
1.5%. So as
Oh,
usual,
geez.
Paddock and Aaron, as usual, tied up.
I vote for you, Aaron.
1% Emily B, 1.5% Bailey,
Oh, that's
1%
very shocking.
1% Tom, 1.5% Will, 2.3% AJ. Now we get into the slightly larger ones. Lucy coming in with only 2.3% of the votes. So Lucy had a
Come on,
steep
Discord.
decline in her fan
Wow.
favoriteness.
What
Wow,
what
Discord,
place is
y'all.
that? Is that like 15?
Something
I don't
like
know how
that.
many
It's,
rounds-
it's
yeah.
not good. I think we're into like the top 7 or 8 now.
Okay.
We have Kevin with 3.8%. Leia with 5.3%.
That's higher than I thought. she'd
What are we
get.
at now? Like top 5?
I'm not totally sure. All right, Jackson, 6.1% of the vote. We're getting up there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people left. Okay, this is
Okay,
the
so
top.
Jackson got 7th, so no
Jackson
points
got
for that
7.
guess. Okay, so
So
6.
the top 6. Next, we have a tie actually between. Oh wait, no, I lied. Next is Sam with 7.6% of the votes. So he got 6th place. Is that
Okay.
right? 5th place is a tie between Andrew and Jesse, both with 8.4%. Oh, wait a second.
Oh,
I messed this up. They tied for 4th and 5th. Jesse
Okay.
and Andrew
Wait.
tied for 4th and 5th.
why is
Jesse
Jesse so
tied for
high?
Yeah,
fifth?
so this is where there was an attempted rigging because there was about 30 votes submitted. There was 30 ballots submitted that had the exact same results for all the other questions as well, with Jesse as their fan favorite. And they were all submitted within like 5 minutes of each other. So I was like, it was when I clicked it, I was looking at the results about a week and a half ago, and I was like, how is Jesse number 1? How is Jesse dominating this? Not that I don't love Jesse, because I do, but it felt unlikely. It just didn't feel likely that she was dominating the poll by such a crazy degree. And I looked into it, and it seemed like someone had attempted to rig it for Jesse. And I think I got rid of most of those dummy ballots, but honestly, I might not have gotten rid of them all because she's polling still pretty high, and it was kind of hard to search through every single one. But
So it all depends on whether Megan is the
Yes.
second or the
If-
fan
yeah,
favorite.
so the
If
top
Megan
3
is third, if Megan's third, we have a tie. And
The
we'll
top
we'll come up with a
3
tiebreaker.
is actually Cooper, Sarah, and Megan, but in what order? So
Oh.
shockingly, Cooper somehow pulls his way into third
Third.
place
Okay.
with 9.2% of the vote. And now it comes down to the heavy hitters,
So, yeah.
Sarah and Megan.
Draft group 1. If Megan's second, then Ryan, you get the extra prize. And if Megan is first, then Joseph, you get the extra prize. So both groups only had 1 out of 3 fan favorites correct, and both had Megan. So
Let's
alright,
do a
so-
little small poll right here. Like, who thinks Megan's going to be number 1?
Megan.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Does
so.
anyone think it's going to be Sarah?
I'm sticking true to our original thought, and also the fact that it's Sarah.
In second place with 16% of the total votes, Sarah Gallagher.
Oh,
But for a first boot from the very first episode, that's pretty good. That's a pretty
Queen.
big,
Queen shit.
pretty big deal. And with a commanding 22.1% of the total votes, almost a quarter of all votes cast, dominating the competition, of course, Megan, the fan favorite of the season. and the
Now-
player of the season.
Question is, will Megan come on for a postseason podcast to accept the
No.
to accept the award?
Absolutely not.
No,
Come on, Megan.
no,
She's disqualified.
absolutely
Stay
no
away.
chance. And the best thing about this is Megan likely will never know that she won this because I
Somebody
believe
will tell her.
she is avoiding almost all information about Survivor Michigan. But she won it, and that's wonderful. And so who won the thing here?
So draft
Team
group
2.
2, yes. So Joseph, you will get an extra prize in the mail once I'm able to get all the stuff shipped. So congrats to your group for kind of helping you out with that, and for group 2 to get a little extra bragging rights in terms of picking the fan favorites. So they nailed it. First overall, they nailed it. So
We don't get shit though.
and if I have enough stickers or something like that, maybe, but we'll see what's still left in the inventory of prizes and memorabilia. So
Did me and Austin get anything for picking the winner?
I don't believe
No.
so. We also
did you
I
ever
am
did you
jumping right back out of this call. Robbed. We picked the winner. That was the challenge, right? I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm falling
Wow.
apart.
also nobody got any points for this mid-season challenge portion,
I think
right?
no, I think
Or did
who had-
anybody?
Dustin
Somebody
picked
picked
Nick-
Nick as the merge
Dustin
boot.
picked Nick as the merge boot and got an extra point, but we were 0 for 10.
Well, Austin, did you have any thoughts on your draft team now that we have you in here? How it turned out? You did pick Sam, but the rest of your team was a bit sus.
Well, hold on. First of all, can we scroll back so I can make sure I got
yes, here you go.
it right before I get indignant? Okay. Jesse, it didn't work out. I feel like the process was right, the scouting was right.
double
I'm
tribal,
looking for
yeah.
winner potential in what I did, and obviously it worked out, so we can't be too upset about it. Now with Jackson and Nick, I feel like I think I certainly undersold or underestimated the amount that Jackson would not be liked by everyone. Nick, I feel like in the late round was the steal of the draft. Like Nick came, I guess Cooper and pretty late for us, but and I can't see who else was. Yeah, Sarah was pretty good too. But I feel like Nick, like if things had just broken a little bit differently, he could have won the game, done quite a lot of things. So no, I'm happy with it. I'm proud.
Yeah, if he just played that idol, all he had to do was
If he
play
just
the
played that
idol.
idol, yeah, come on, he's got to apologize to me. So, no, I'm happy with it overall, and I'm very especially happy that my boy Sam pulled it through. After certainly an up and down season, I remember after that first episode, it was like, whoa, boy, we gotta maybe we didn't do things right, but then I thought it was great with Jackson. So, no, I'm not upset about it.
You technically got second, Austin, by a point, so not a bad showing to get second, I guess. So
First loser.
Yeah.
It's not in there.
A lovely runner-up.
yeah.
Oh, Austin, so now we got you in here. Did you have any just overall thoughts on the second half of the season, or just the whole thing as a whole, I guess?
Well, I mean, first of all, since I know we've talked about this offline, but congrats on finishing, and congrats on like the achievement of the 5 seasons. My voice is mostly gone. It's come back slightly since the morning when I sent Ian a voice note, but we just had like our 10-year, it's actually almost been 11 years, 10-year 20 season Maryland reunion, and
Wow.
I think like it built really nicely for me off of watching you all culminate your first generation, because that is such a momentous mark, and like you guys have done so well to build such a community and both like on campus and online too, and it was very fulfilling this weekend to be part of that on the Maryland side. But I think what was really effective in All Stars was Michigan All Stars is the fact that it felt like that culmination in every sense of the word, and I think propelled you guys into like really, God, I'm not making sense. It just felt like it was the end of an era, right? And I think you did such a good job. You guys did such a good job of building up towards that. I think we all felt various waves of frustration with the initial post merge and some of the phase 2 parts, and not seeing things flip back. But undoubtedly watching like people fight their asses off at that end game is some of like my favorite stuff in Survivor and what I really enjoy. So that's why I really was pumped for Sam to win in the end. Like the last challenge was epic. And we were just talking about at the Maryland reunion yesterday about because Maryland had a very, very long sundial challenge this year. I will not spoil the time, but it was I'm pretty sure records were set on that one. But we were also talking about the Michigan one and the even just when they had to go on one foot like for an hour and 40 minutes. And it was insane. Like, and those are the things that I think capture for me what makes College Survivor and Michigan so special is that people are going to put themselves on the line to do that. So like I think that's ultimately why like we're so blessed to have this and to see some of these communities form. So there's a lot of ways to say like I'm really glad to have experienced the Michigan era. Like I remember when George first reached out and messaged and was like, "We're doing this. We're really excited." And I was like so pumped because it was so clear there was so much passion and energy behind it. And to see where it is now, years later is really cool.
Cool beans. Anything else you want to say about the Maryland reunion? That sounds like a good time.
It was wild.
Is there a video that's coming at some point? Is there?
Look, you guys know how
Tune into the Discord.
You know how the Maryland seasons are edited, so you can expect it in 2075. No, we weren't really doing it for a filming thing, but it was a really awesome weekend where we were having. I mean, we had a pretty even spread of all the generations coming together. We ran out of a bar in the night, like it was just very cool. And to see like I think it was interesting now that we're so far away from Generation 1. A lot of the people who are playing now people are like literally were 12 when we were playing and they have no idea like the history, no idea of the community, but they have a really strong community. And just to see the two parts of, or, all the parts of it come together was really, really powerful and so fun too. Like the format we did was this team-based Survivor game, which we kind of experimented with. And it was just amazing to watch like these people, people who are in college now pair with people who were in Generation 1 and like the same strategic mind, the same passion for it. And like go to town. So I can report spoilers. Again, this is not going to air, but Holly got her first Survivor Maryland win. Her team won the reunion, which is pretty good. So a big notch for her in the overall Go rankings. And it was just funny too. Like, and I think this will probably be true for Michigan, eventually too. Is like so many of the Generation 1 characters were like genuinely larger than life. And one of the hosts came up to me who's from later seasons and was like, I don't understand the people you have. Like, they're just a different breed where they just like take over and dominate conversations. Like we had Siona yelling at Chris LeCompte and flicking him off all day. It just had everything you wanted from that stuff. So that was really cool. And I can't wait for the Michigan 20-year reunion and the Maryland 40-year reunion.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can only imagine. We've been doing like Michigan reunions, but obviously it's not like 20 years or anything like that, but that's
How was
wild.
Vegas?
Vegas was wild. It was a good way to, if you don't know, a group of people from All Stars, about half the cast and some other people went to Vegas for the finale. And we all watched it together. Everyone cried. It was a mess. It was a whole thing. Everybody was crying. We were struggling.
Ian, I thought you don't remember crying.
No, well, I remember crying, but I did lose my phone, which was tough the last night, and by most accounts I was sort of in a messy state. But but it was to be expected on the last night of the whole situation. But everyone was crying, everyone was hugging. It was like a big group hug for like a couple hours, so that was like it felt like I think I expected to be a lot more sad that it was over, to be honest, because I thought it had been something that has been building in my head for so long that I thought like I would just be devastated when it was over, and that really hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will at some point, but I think right now it's more of just that was just such a nice moment of closure that it felt very final in a way. So
it's really cool. And how are you using your free time?
Dude, I've been playing video games. I went out, it was a beautiful day yesterday. I went to the park for like hours and hours. It was great. I've been hitting the gym. Everything in my life that I have been neglecting in the past like 6 months.
Free.
I was talking to a friend the other day and she was talking to me something about her own life. And she was like, I told you this like in February. I was like, anything anyone told me the last like 6 months, I don't remember it. I don't know what you told me. I don't know what's going on with anything in the world right now. I'm reconnecting with all of that. I'm catching up on TV shows. So I'm just re-engaging with regular life, which is wild. It's very
you asked me like a year ago or something. You were like, what is it going to be like when it's over? Like, preparing for that sadness. And I'm glad you had like a closure moment too, because we had the same thing. But like I just remember the feeling the week after All Stars for Maryland finished airing. And I just like realized I could say yes to people. Like if someone asked me to do something, I actually could say yes instead of like, no, I have to edit. It's the most free thing.
Mine is like I wake up on like the weekends now, and I'm like, oh, I don't have to do anything. Or like when I get off work, I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do tonight? I can actually decide. It's not just like, all right, how much more editing? Like I was having trouble sleeping the first week because I kept waking up in the middle of the night thinking I had like some episode to edit or something, but I don't. So it's honestly been really freeing in that capacity, and that's been very fun to be able to just do stuff again.
Well, Matthew, like I need more stuff to do now.
What'd you say?
I said you're probably like I need more stuff to do now. I need to feed off of it.
Matthew never stops. He's running the OSU Michigan
Yeah,
mini,
little, yeah. Winner goes on to play Maryland is the plan. So or I mean within the Big Ten, I think Michigan State, Northwestern, I think have them. So eventually we'll do maybe a Big Ten one. But if anybody didn't see, next Saturday on the Ohio State YouTube, it's going to be streamed like somewhat sequester style. Basically, you'll be able to watch it live. Will be 14 Michigan people, 7 Gen 1, 7 Gen 2 versus 14 Ohio State Survivor players. So that should be pretty fun and kind of a one-day mini. So
28 people.
Is there going to be at least one Gen 3 Michigan person?
There's one person from all 11 Michigan Survivor seasons.
I can't wait
the
for
mini,
the new debate in the Discord to be like, which season is best? It's going to become like, what is the generation marker and what's the cutoff? And we're just going to be arguing about it till our eyes bleed. It's going to be awesome.
It'll never end. It's like the Nick versus Mallory argument. It's never going to end.
Yeah, Nick versus Mallory is the true never end. Like every time that comes up, I get some text from Nick. Like it's that argument is like truly endless, I think.
I'm telling you, it's the Aubrey versus Michelle of Survivor Michigan. It's the one argument people are never going to let go.
Yeah.
Anything else? What's going on with CNU? When are we seeing the next thing?
We're hoping to get season 4 out like the fall, I think, like summer fall, and then our all-star season will be next spring coming out. But so my brother and I are both editing it, but both of us broke our arms within a 2-week span.
Is your arm broken right now?
Yeah, it's broken right now.
What happened? Are you good?
I have surgery tomorrow. No, I'm good. It doesn't hurt like that much right now. It was weird. We're both in a dodgeball league, and we both like threw a ball, and it just like popped. It happened to him 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was like, the first time I went, I was like, oh, I'll go. I'll just be so cool about it. And the exact same thing happened.
What kind of dodgeball league is this?
I don't know.
People are breaking their arms. Like
some genetic thing, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
guys,
I said. I
like
was
for
like,
editing, are you like sharing one you does like the mouths? Does the
yeah. So he took season 3, so I'm doing season 4, and he's doing all-star prep right now. But yeah, it's super exciting. We are really excited. We think all-stars is going to be really good. But yeah, I don't know if I have any fun stories about it beforehand, but
so Trevor?
Oh, I know.
I saw that. I was like, I gotta grab mine. So
well, Ian and I owe you guys some recap podcasts whenever anybody needs a person. So we will try to be on
I
call
think that we're indebted
appreciate
to
you
come
guys.
on any of these ever if anybody if anyone asks us. I think
we bring the hot takes, so yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm excited to Anders should just be a rotating like podcast.
Yeah. I was joking with Anders once and like, dude, let's just start like a college survivor podcast and we just like we'll just talk about all of them.
You're pretty busy, but yeah.
But the end update is just like, when is Survivor Maryland 8 coming out? It's just like, I don't know.
That's
like,
the name of the podcast. The name of the podcast is What is Survivor Maryland?
Okay, you guys will appreciate there was a word puzzle within the reunion game, and the answer to it was when will season 8 air? But I will say I have seen a draft of season 8, episode 1. It is real. And I've also seen a draft of season 12, episode 1. And season 20 seems like it's really good. And we're just gonna go out of order, but the future of Maryland is bright.
I mean, it worked for OUS. They went 1, 2, 4, and then 3 is apparently coming out 4 years later.
Yeah, there's a current host of Survivor CNU. I think they're at for Gen 2. I think he's on season 8 now. But he'll be on 6 through 10. And his last season he's gonna do All Stars. And I asked him like, "Oh, you're watching Michigan, right?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Are you gonna do what Cooper did and like play?" And he was like, "I've had everyone tell me I'm first boot, so I'm not doing that."
I think I remember thinking there was a pretty decent chance that Cooper could have gone out first, or like I think that it's just like literally a domino effect thing. If someone had started saying it, it could have happened. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if you had done an anonymous poll before the game, who do you want out? Like, how do you feel about Cooper? I think it would have been a pretty large majority. Like, we want him gone early, but no one was willing to say it out loud.
It was gonna be like once you said his name, it was gonna be like 3 or 4 weeks for it to catch on, but it just like took people too long to start saying it. But
yeah, I think it could have happened if somebody had made it their mission. If Cooper had started on a tribe with Kevin, I think Cooper could have been like first or second boot. If Kevin had made it his life goal to get
once his name was out there, he could survive a few weeks with his name out there, but not the whole game. So yeah.
If anybody wants a free idea, the initial draft of the Fluke twist was actually that I was going to go play Maryland All-Stars, and Steve Sleesman was going to take over as host. This was created on a vacation in Punta Cana, and basically we would have like only had me plan the first 4 events and then not do confessionals. So I'm just saying it's out there. If someone needs it for maybe the CNU host wants to get in there, and then you skip 4 rounds, you're good. You shock everyone.
Don't you think you would have been like totally like screwed if you had done that?
Oh, 100%. But it would have been pretty epic for the moment.
That would have been hilarious. I'm joining the game.
The host, spoiler for he was on season 4. He was not very good, so I don't think it'd be a good idea anyway.
Wait, talk about that Maryland twist. Didn't Fluke last 4 rounds anyways?
I think she lasted. I guess it was. It was. I guess she got out in the 5th round. She did. So yeah, that's about right. But I thought she was gonna make it like almost to the end by the time she settled in. It really depends on the person, but I think like there is that first round potential. And if they can skate by that, then they kind of become the integrated.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing they were basically considering doing for Dylan and Lavana originally. Is how our season was going to work, because people, I don't know. This is explained more in like a different podcast, but it was going to be 10 and 10 boys and girls, and Dylan and Lavana were going to both come in around like merge time or something like that.
It was earlier than that. It was like for swap, and then people were gonna
try to swap.
It was gonna like they were both immune for like a couple rounds, and then the entire game votes which one of them they want to stay in the game or something like that.
Yeah. So Lavana dropping out kind of unexpectedly definitely
then we just put Dylan into the game. Period is what we did. Yeah.
You should have added Abby at the last minute.
Abby,
introduce her.
It was funny.
Kind of anyway.
Do you know?
Introduce her around the 3rd episode.
When I had the montage at the end of all the players in alphabetical order from all 5 seasons, it was funny that Abby was the first person, because when we were watching it with everybody, Abby comes up, and everybody at first thought that it was just like, wow, you put Abby in with the All-Stars cast, like you did not fucking do that. So everyone thought that, but then it went to like AJ and like other people who weren't on the All-Stars cast, and people were like, oh, okay, I get it. It's everybody. It's just funny that Abby was the first one on that.
Yeah.
You had no Aaron in your team, so
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Any other final thoughts on Survivor Michigan All-Stars, or anything else that anyone wants to talk about their draft? The winners want to, claim their glory one last time, talk about how well they did.
I just got lucky, got nothing to say. Like we played a good game.
Yeah, I was Dustin's worst nightmare in this draft. I took away his first pick, then I took away his winning piece, and so Dustin, you're not here, but I want to say I'm sorry, but also kind of not sorry.
Yeah, Dustin told me he was coming, but if you want to listen to Dustin complain about this draft, the Survivor Analyst podcast, every episode of the Survivor Analyst podcast, last like 4 or 5 episodes, is just him getting more and more annoyed about how his draft is going. So highly recommended viewing if you're curious about that.
I just want to say I may have had the shittiest outcome, but I have the best team name, so suck it.
Your team name is stolen from somebody else's.
Yeah, and it's good because Shannon's a legend.
Do we think?
Yeah, but that's Shannon. It's not you.
Matthew, was there somebody shirtless in every single episode of All Stars? Was there one where someone didn't take their shirt off? I was wondering about this. I'm not sure.
Probably. I feel like it was mainly Sam and
Cooper.
Who else?
Between Sam, Crouch.
Sam, Crouch, Cooper.
Jackson?
Between
Jackson.
Jackson, Crouch, and like Sam,
I
like
feel like at
somebody
some
had it
point
off all the
at some
time.
point post merge, I feel like there probably was one, but definitely early first couple episodes, yeah, it was pretty rampant.
You know,
So.
I'm reclaiming the title of best team name. Keep your shirts off. Was that guy? You're just wrong.
It was especially good once Sam started being the one taking off his shirt. Like that really
Just
adds
repping
into
the team. Yeah.
Keep your
Yeah.
shirts off.
Well, that's.
thing.
I mean, it just fit. I mean, Jesse let me down a little bit. I could have used some more shirtless moments. But the other three, they held up their end of the bargain.
You missed it. I was saying how someone tried to rig the. Were you here when I was talking about someone tried to rig the poll for Jesse to win? Basically, there were 30 Jesse votes submitted at like the same time, and all the other answers were also the same. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" I was like, "How did Jesse suddenly get a gigantic lead in this poll?" And then I looked at it, and I saw that like it was somebody had been trying to rig it for Jesse to win fan favor, basically.
Did you remove them, or she got tied for fourth with?
No, I deleted most of them, but I honestly think a couple slipped through, and I missed them. I think she
batches,
yeah, they did them in like there was a few different batches of them. It wasn't like it was somewhat well thought out, I guess.
I mean, well, conveniently, Zach said he was busy and he had Jesse on his team, so maybe there's some connection. I'm not pointing fingers. But...
No.
You know, I did think of him. I was like, who do I know who's obsessed with Jesse?
No,
It could have
if
been
Zach was going to rig it, he would have rigged it. Well, Megan did
Lucy?
win number one. It would have been.
It would have been
yeah,
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah, it would have been Lucy.
Lucy and Megan and all of his picks would have been tough.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. You know, this podcast and the other ones we did. It was a really super fun thing to see what you guys thought about the season, you know, throughout. And I know I really enjoyed it. Thank you for like running this, Matthew. And we'll get you guys the winners their All-Stars poster.
Their swag,
I have mine right here, signed by the whole cast. Yours might not be slightly as cool, but
Just have Matthew sign it.
Yeah. I'll just put a big signature over the entire cast.
Yeah.
They got that for me at the
last year
when the season premiered. They surprised me with the whole cast had signed a poster, so that was very cool. Very, very thoughtful of them. I'll hang it up in my office one day or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's
a one of a kind item.
At CBS, yeah.
Yeah. CBS, if you're listening to this, like hit me up.
Yeah.
Right next to Jeff's office. Yeah.
Cast somebody from this generation on the real show.
It's inevitable. I feel like someone from College Survivor will eventually get on CBS Survivor. I don't know who, but I feel like it will happen eventually.
We've got Big Brother, so
You got Big Brother and The Amazing Race. You just need Survivor now.
Yeah. I think somebody from Ohio State was on like Love Island or something, or some sort of.
He was on Are You the One?
Are You the One?
Thank you very much.
Wait,
I don't know what it was.
Who from OSU was on Are You the One?
Max, do you remember the LGBTQ season? Like the
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
Okay. Well, it's the best season.
I have heard that's the best season of Are You the One?
It is.
It probably is, but I just lost interest in Are You the One after the fourth one.
Max was great in Time and Change also.
Yeah.
Great character.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't OSU
Great
also
queen
have an
Royal.
actual Survivor player on it?
Yeah, but that's like reverse. Like he
That's
was on
reverse.
Survivor first, right? So I feel like it doesn't count as much.
Yeah, plus he sucked both times, so.
I know Carson goes to Georgia Tech, so I was telling the Georgia Tech people they should
really?
get in touch with Carson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had
And isn't in the new Florida one don't they have like, didn't Christian like teach at their school or something? The new Florida State.
Florida State,
yeah.
Maybe he'll be involved. We had
Chelsea-
Chelsea,
new
Chelsea
Florida
Walker
State
was in
game? I had
Maryland
no idea.
when I was there, and I always regretted that we didn't connect before.
Oh,
We
yeah.
did talk after, but yeah.
We had John Mitch was
Rip Survivor Boston. They turned that in the Discord into Survivor Florida State.
Oh, they did.
Really?
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny.
They were like, oh, like we need a Florida State one, and somebody was like, no one has mentioned anything this Boston chat in years. Let's just get rid of
I
it.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
Boston's
Too
dead
bad.
at this point, which is sad because they were about to have their All-Star season, and it's just never going to come out.
Yeah, I binge watched all of Survivor Boston to prepare for their All-Star season, and then it didn't come out.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through season 4 because I was like waiting to like get to the All-Star.
Oh, that's a good season.
But
Season 2 and 4 are the only good seasons of Boston.
did you
worth
guys,
watching.
Austin? You don't have to. You obviously won't say, but can you say if there was a date said to you guys about season 8 like, at the reunion thing?
No. Anders will announce it when it exists. Believe me. I feel like he said this somewhere in Discord or something that he's aiming for like the tail end of fall winter this year. I feel like based on the track he's on, that actually is pretty accurate. So once you get the premiere is like the hardest draft I feel like to get going. and he has that. So I feel like now it's
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
downhill in like the easier way, not what I mean.
Yeah. I'd also say relatively soon there should be some news about future Michigan seasons. I don't know exactly when because I'm not in charge of it, but from what I understand, there will be some sort of announcements about something sometime in the near future. So yeah, if you're excited for that, there's more Survivor Michigan.
Season 6 is really good. That's all I'll say. It's really good. Yeah.
I've actually played an org as one of the season 6 players.
Ooh, no spoilers.
Yeah.
Camila.
Can tell Ian and I in secret. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if we know.
I don't know anything about
I think
it.
I
just
can
know that
guess.
they
I bet
played
I
in
can
season
guess who
6.
it was probably, but
Yeah, a couple guesses.
all right. Well,
Fun.
yeah. Thank you guys for coming on. It's always great to talk to all of you guys. Thank you guys for your support all season long. And I guess this is kind of weird. Also, this is like the last one of these things that I'll do. Next time I'll be in one
It'll
of
be
your spots. Get
Season 10.
some sort of look back, some sort of 5-year reunion. There'll be some sort of
The
podcast.
retrospective,
So
yeah.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It'll never end.
Yeah.
It always goes.
We're gonna have
on and
we'll have a
on.
draft year reunion podcast at this time next year.
In 10 years, we'll do like an All-Stars rewatch, and everybody will participate. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it was we got actually like Liz from season 1 was visiting New York yesterday, and me and her, Cooper and Tarowski got lunch, and she had the girl she was staying with. It was just very quickly descended into like complete Survivor talk, like All Stars, like mostly them talking like Cooper and like Leia's game from All Stars, and her friend was just like, she was like, I'm so sorry. Her friend was like, no, like I knew this was gonna happen. Basically, like you told me this is what happens when you see these people. Like,
We were sitting in an Uber at 3 a.m. last night, and like Chris Thomas, Holly, and Chris LeCompte were bickering, like debating stars still.
Yeah.
And this other guy from season 18 and 20 was in the car with us and turned to me and was like, so 10 years later, like they still do this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
never stops.
No, it
still-
actually never stops. Yeah, it never ends.
Still like text Ian or Sam and be like, wait, what if like Cooper had made a different decision at the merge? Like, what do you think would have happened there from there on out? It's like, oh wait, what if? Like,
Oh, but wasn't it
never-
so funny that person who was arguing with Sam in the Discord, who was basically like trying to tell Sam what Sam was thinking? I love the Discord.
Well, I thought that was what that guy was, I think, trying to say was that they didn't believe that what Sam was saying, which I thought like the argument was like, you might think that, but that's not what I think you actually think. You just think you think that, which is like a hilarious argument to be saying to him. But the biggest one is from All Stars, the final 6 vote. To this day, Bailey, Crouch, and Cooper all still think it was someone else who fucked it. Like Bailey is like, Cooper should have voted with us and voted for Sam, and Cooper's like, you guys should have voted with me and voted for Bree. And Crouch is like, you're both idiots. I just needed you guys to agree. I don't care which way it went. So the 3 of them will still fight about that to like literally to this very day.
I can confirm. I talked to Bailey 2 days ago.
They all think it was somebody else's fault that they messed that up.
I also, before we end, I want to thank all the Michigan people who came on the LRG, Ian, and all the players that came on, Akshay, Dylan, Aaron, Bailey, Cooper. Now that Cooper's going to come on. I'll be talking to Cooper.
Spoilers.
Didn't Jackson go on?
Yeah.
Jackson came on. One of the probably best experience ever. It was like I remember starting like my first like Michigan podcast experience was me, Naomi, and Cooper, and I was just saying how much I hate these Tokidoki people, Jackson and Dale, and then it just came full circle to me actually being like, okay, yeah, I like Jackson. I
He was
get
good
his
on the
humor now.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to just say, my brother, I want to make sure I said something. That watching Maryland and Michigan, now that both Gen 1s are done, is the reason why we even tried to do anything at our very small time school. So since you're both here, I just want to say thank you so much for having us, inspiring us to even try it. And I know you've heard it a lot before, you've inspired a lot of people, but I just want to say from me and my brother personally, thank you for doing all that you do. And it's been a fun ride. And I can't wait for us to have our own journey.
Yeah, same here. I feel like I think I mentioned this on the very first podcast, but the very first like season of Survivor, like including like CBS, like was a Michigan season. Like I watched Michigan before I even watched like CBS Survivor, and that's like why I kind of got into Survivor, like doing research for because I knew I was gonna play on like my campus's Survivor. So without like Michigan, I don't think I would have gone like the club I'm in. Like I've met like a lot of like really close friends that I think I'm gonna be friends with for a while. I've been having a blast, even though like I'm always on edge, like still on edge, like currently. But I mean, without that, like I think a huge part of my college experience is going to be this. So I feel like without you guys, for me to like watch, I don't think I would have gotten as invested into it. So I do want to thank you guys for all that.
Yeah, same here. Michigan first ever college Survivor season I watched. I was watching a Peridian stream. He randomly mentioned Survivor Michigan, watched it online, saw Victor's Valley, was like, and now I'm hooked. And now I've seen 25 plus college Survivor seasons.
Wow.
And if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't even be involved in this community at all.
Thanks, Peridium. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool how big it like the college Survivor has become, and there's always like new ones popping up, and it's like I feel like Austin and I have talked about this a little bit, but now I feel like I'm now moving into like the spot he feels like he's in, where it's just very fun to see that continue and there be more and more of them, and like it's just like a really cool thing that there's so many people doing this and that so many people have met friends and everything through it, and that was, I mean, that's at least what our finale was like and about. Was at the end of the day, like the show was about the community, and like not just that community, but like this community too, and all the different communities together is like a one sort of massive thing. And the people who watch it, the people who talk about it, all the people who participated in it, all as one sort of weird, interconnected, wild thing.
Yeah, I mean, I had like the flip. There's like the two sides of it. There's like the individual community at the schools, and then there's this online community too. And I was saying yesterday to Anders and all the other players and hosts that like I started it just because I wanted to run a Survivor game, and it was supposed to be one season, and it was never even going to be on YouTube, and that was it. And like I think what's like, yeah, people talk about like the how cool it is that it was started and inspired whatever, but ultimately like the fact that each of you and each player and like host and producer that jumps in and says like I want to start this as my thing too, like that takes more like guts and courage than just doing it yourself. Like if Anders had never come up to me and said like I want to continue this, it just would have died at Maryland. And I feel like each school, each like community has taken that torch and carried it so well. It's so awesome to watch. And yeah, Ian, you're gonna feel like a full dad and get proud of everything too. But like it is really cool to see it just like be so established at this point.
Give me 10 years, I'm gonna make a Survivor Ireland.
Do it.
I'll make it somehow exist over here.
Yeah, one day it should be like a college Survivor convention or some sort of like, I don't know what, but there's so many people that like I've never met like Austin in real life or like most of these people. It's just bizarre, kind of in a certain sense.
That's got like vibe. I hope it works out. It's got vibes of like when everyone on Tumblr was like, we should all meet, like that.
Don't compare us to Tumblr.
Yeah, I can see your face. Come on.
But on that note, I think is that seems like a good note to wrap this up on. So
yeah,
thank you everybody again. No, just thank you everybody for participating, and this was really fun when we had an idea to do a draft, and I think it turned out awesome. So thank you everybody for participating and added a cool element to the season. So yeah.
Awesome. See you guys later. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Bye. I was robbed.
Same.